Hey guys, Psych Gaming here, and welcome back to World of Tanks. Today's video we're going to be taking a look at the Lowe, the tier 8 German premium tank. And seeing as though I've never reviewed a premium tank before, today I'm basically just going to be just showing off what a premium tank is and explaining why you should be buying them. Just because, well, seeing as though my channel is supposed to be aimed at noobs and pros alike, today I'm going to be, just for the noob's sake, I'm just going to be explaining what premium tanks are. However, there will be an annotation on the screen, probably in the top left or something, up here, to take you to the part where I actually review this tank, if you know what a premium tank actually is. So anyway, if we come into the tech tree here, as you can see, these are the premium tanks. And here's the Lowe. And this is true of all premium tanks. They don't connect to any other tank. They don't lead to any other tank, and you don't get them from any other tank. And basically what that means is you don't buy them with credits and experience like you usually would. You buy them with in-game gold, which is, it's basically real money. So you're paying 12,500 gold for this tank, which is a heck of a lot. Now, if it's not the most expensive tank in the game, it's definitely one of the most, let's just put it that way. So, you've just got to bear that in mind, and people may be thinking, why the hell would you spend that much money on a tank? Well, it's got some pretty big upsides. This thing does, it's a pretty good tank in itself, but the premium benefits of this tank are pretty big as well. So, you may be wondering what premium benefits actually come with this tank. Well, all premium tanks actually generate 1.5 times credits for each battle. This means that a lot of people actually use them for credit making machines. So this thing will earn 1.5 times credits in comparison to a normal tier 8 heavy, which that means that this thing does earn quite a bit. You can earn, I've earned 80k on a good winning game, but I know for a fact if you were to get something like Top Gun on it, you would get about 100, like maybe even more. So that's pretty good. You can earn quite a lot of money in the short space of time with this tank. The other main thing is you can put crew into this thing from other heavies of the same nation without having these red marks up here. As you can see, this is my VK crew. And if I was to just, if this was a heavy tank, if the VK was a heavy tank, then it wouldn't come up with this message in the bold white. It would come up with something along the lines of your crew is not trained for this tank. However, seeing as though it's a heavy tank, you may still use your perks and skills, which is good. Why am I pressing that? Basically, this means that you can use this tank to train up all your heavy tank crews. So you can use it when you're grinding out credits, or when you're or just, you know, if you don't want to play that tank right now, you can play this thing, which is actually pretty handy. Which is why I'm actually putting my crew, my VK crew, in here, just because seeing as though I'm making a review on this tank, I might as well get my first perks in faster. So that's basically the two main reasons why people buy premium tanks. However, if you want to find out more, I'll probably put a link in the description to a wiki page which goes all about premium tanks and why you should buy them, what the benefits are, all that sort of stuff. Because I don't particularly want to take up about half this video just explaining what a premium tank is. So anyway, let's get on to actually reviewing the Lowe. So as you can see up here, let's get on to the stats. The Lowe has 1,650 hit points, which is actually pretty good. I haven't really seen very many tier 8 heavies that actually have more hit points than that. I've seen tier 9s that have the same hit points as that, so that's pretty good. It means when you're in a tier 6 game, you're probably going to get like maybe one more hit before you die off them, which is always helpful. And then its weight is like past 70 tons, a tank turns into it's classified as a super heavy tank. So this is actually super heavy, clocking in at 92.95 tons. That's a heavy tank. And when you've only got 800 horsepower pulling that thing, this thing is really sluggish. You will go up hills about 8 kilometers an hour, and then if you try to turn, you will literally just stop. So you need to be cautious of where you're going. Make sure you're going in the right direction at the start of the battle, so you don't have to turn around. Because if you have to go to the other side of the map, you really are the battle is gonna end before you get there. So bear that in mind. So I said that the traverse speed is only 24, which is low as well. Now this thing is it's not maneuverable and it's not fast. And you can kind of, that's the thing with heavy tanks, so that's nothing to be kind of shocked over. However, you do need to be cautious, because that will slow you down when you're turning around. That sort of speed will like slow down your tank when you're turning. Then when we come to armor, now that might seem like a pretty bad armor rating for such a high tiered tank, but when you come to when you actually see the armor on it, and I will point this out, there's some quirks about the armor. So when you look at the front, obviously the front is sloped, so that's going to take that up to maybe about 150. Don't quote me on that though. And then, as you can see, the gun mantlet, which is always thicker than the turret armor, it covers quite a lot of the turret itself, and it's sloped, which will actually make that much higher. And then the actual 120 rating of the armor is probably, like, it's either this bit here or it's just the front. So either way, you've got a very nice slope going on either side. So you're not gonna, if you go hull down in this thing, it is probably going to work. When you come to the sides and rear, it's 80 and 80 and 80 and 80. So and there's not very many slopes on it, so if you're going to stick your sides and rear out, you need to be prepared to get penetrated. Oh god, that doesn't sound good. Moving swiftly on. Now, we might as well talk about weak points while we're here. So this viewport and this viewport are weak points, and you will do damage when you hit them. So if you've got a very accurate gun, you might as well aim for that. There's also one on the top here, and then you've got the cupola. I don't know how to pronounce that. If someone would mind telling me how you actually pronounce that in the comments, that would be really helpful. And then you've got this exit hatch on the back. Now that's a weak spot as well. And then you've obviously got the lower glacis plate, which on German tanks it kind of sticks out quite a bit. That's near flat as well, so that's definitely a good spot to aim. Now, I'm not quite sure on any other of the weak spots, but they're the main ones that you want to be aiming for. So if we get onto the gun, as you can see, it's a tier 9 gun, which is very good. Now, a tier 9 gun on a tier 8 tank, that's already off for a winner. And it's 105mm, so as you can see, it is a thick gun. And it fires at 5 rounds per minute. So if you're coming from a lower tiered tank like me, you will seem to think that that's really slow, but it's not that bad. It may seem very slow, but to be honest, it's not too bad. However, with that quite slow rate of fire comes pretty good damage. 320 damage it's pretty average, but that's a good amount, especially when you're against tier 6s, whose that might be half their health. So that's pretty good as well. Now, the penetration is also very good. There's not very many tanks that actually have that thick of armor. Now, its minimum does drop down quite a bit, so you might find that you might not penetrate tanks with lower armor ratings than that. However, that is the average one. So, as you can see, we've got a alright rate of fire, a alright damage, a good penetration, and when we come to accuracy, that's good as well, 0.33. There's not very many guns that actually are more accurate than that, so that's good. And then the only that's not that bad. 2.9 is it's on a little bit on the slow side, but with a gun that's that accurate, it doesn't matter too much. So the gun is probably one of the biggest selling features of this tank. Moving on. The turret traverse speed is 23, so that means if you're gonna try to hit fast-moving close targets, you're gonna have to turn your tank and your turret at the same time. Otherwise, you're just not gonna be able to keep up with it. And then you've got 400 view range, which I'm actually gonna. I've got the same thing on my actual Lowe crew, and I've got situational awareness on, which will obviously boost the view range, because a good view range is always helpful. And then the signal range with its tier 9 radio is 710, which is also good. I wouldn't sniff at that. So, as you can see, I don't have very much equipment yet, just because like, I bought this tank and it's kind of my money making tank. I don't want to spend too much money on it. However, I have put a large caliber tank gun rammer on for now, just because without it it's something like an 11-second reload, and with it it's like a 10. So if it shaves off a second from the reload, that's helpful. If you wanted to fit more to it, I suppose something, well, there's kind of two playstyles to this tank, and the stats kind of show this. You've got the one which it really should be played, which is kind of a sniper. And now I know what you may be thinking, well, TDs are the snipers. Well, this is probably one of the only heavy tanks which, like, is good for a sniper, just because the gun is pretty accurate, and, like, it's not very fast or maneuverable. Its armor's not too good, so it kind of all adds up to kind of a long-range tank. So if you are going to go with that sort of playstyle, you'd want probably not camouflage net, even though that would help. It's just because it's such a large tank, it's not going to have much of an effect. And then you'd probably want binocular telescope, because if you're going to be standing still, sitting still, then 25% view range is going to be really helpful. And probably last, you're going to want something like either improved ventilation class 3, vertical stabilizer, you know, just anything that you want. That's kind of, there's nothing that you really need. However, one that would be really helpful would be the enhanced gun laying drive, because it's, as I said, the gun aiming speed isn't too great. So that's basically all I'm going to show with the garage. Now I'm going to move on to some gameplay of this tank as usual. I'll probably show about 2 or 3 games, depending on how much time I've got and how much I can be bothered to keep playing this today, because I have played quite a bit today. Anyway, I'll just jump into a game and I'll see you in a minute. Right, so I've just jumped into a game on my Lowe, and I'm in a tier 8 game, which is, that's pretty much the best case scenario in this tank. Now there are also tier 6s on this game, so that means that we've got some mopping up to do. Now, let me just demonstrate. Let's find a tier 6, right? That's a tier 6 there, the T3485. It's got 720 health. Now compare that to my 1650 health. In 2 tiers, my health is more than double his. A lot more than double his. And that means the tier 6s have a time, like, they struggle anyway. But the fact that my gun does average damage for my tier, and yet we can face somebody with only 720 health. My gun does over 300. I can nearly take away half his health with one shot. Now this is what I mean. I wasn't concentrating there, and the maneuverability and the speed of that tank meant that, look how slow I'm going now, and look how much time that added just because I wasn't looking. Now the split is pretty even. Now that T71 is deciding to leave us, however. It's not too much of a problem. To be honest, we just need the heavy tanks around this corner here, because as you may have guessed already, I'm going down there. Try and provide some force behind our attack, because my gun is pretty good and my armor is it's pretty good as well. So if tier 6s come around here, I should be able to just obliterate them. Seeing as though we've got 3 tier 8s, in fact 4 tier 8s, we should be pretty fine. Now there's a T26E4. I believe that's a tier 8 as well. See, a lot of his health just gone just because we've got 4 guns firing at him. Bounced off his lower glacius? Seriously? Wow. Maybe that was my fault, maybe I didn't put the shot in correctly. Yeah, thank you AT-15. How can we not see him there? Is that seriously out of my view range? Unless he pulled in. Right, KV2, IS, KV2. Oh, on fire. Come on, keyboard work. Oh my god, it's on cue, isn't it? Oh, I'm a retard. That was such a lucky shot. And now I've taken a heck of a lot of damage to all my modules. I'm probably going to repair the ammo rack just because it really needs it on this tank. Yeah, so what I'm going to try and do in these videos is the two games I'm going to show you. That's him dead. The two videos I'm going to show you, one of them is going to be like this in a sort of brawling style, and then the other one is going to be a more sniper type gameplay, just so that I can show you what the actual role of this tank is in comparison to a standard heavies role. This obviously being the standard heavies role. Did that not take out his truck? I think it did. Right, I can see it bounced off. That was a tiny shot on that Ferdinand, and now that guy just died. Now I think we need to grow some balls and move up here. So, where is it? Follow me. That guy's not actually looking at me, so I'll just pump one into him. Wow, 500 damage on a tier 8. It's a good amount of damage. Right, now I can shoot on the move and ricochet, or I could have aimed and actually penetrated there. Now we are winning 6-4. That's a good thing, obviously. I wonder if I can get the last shot on this guy. Yes, I can. That's 2 kills. Right, there's a Lowe behind these rocks, and an 80-15's managed to get around. Was that the guy that was with us? I think it was. Wow. I think that was artillery. Yeah, there are 2 artillery pieces on this team. I probably should have checked that before. And now the Lowe's dead. So let's just continue to move up. So yeah, this video, I keep saying that. This game's been the standard heavies role game, and the next one will be the snipers game. Now I can't. 3 kills. Now I wonder if you can go clean up the arty. Right, that means he's at the back. Now the Lowe is pretty much just an arty magnet. I am so glad that that fire didn't damage my engine, because if it did, then I would have been almost like standing still at this point. I would be going about half this speed, and half of 11 is too slow. Now the arty's dead, and the only 2 guys are up there. So I suppose that's all the work I can do in this game, because I can't get round there with the horrific speed of this tank. And he's taken a heck of a lot of damage anyway, so I don't know if there's a line of sight over here. Oh, there is. But he's just gone behind a rock now. Damn it, it had to soak up by its track, didn't it? Right, so I got 3 kills on that game and we won, so let's see how much credits I actually earned. 56, and I got a sniper medal. Even though I wasn't sniping. Right, so track for the crit hits. I got 3, I got damage, track damage, I got spotting damage, and I got spotting damage. I got 1 spot and 6 hits and 3 kills. So as you can see, this tank does perform very well, just like normally. So I'll just jump into a game where I'll play more of a sniper role, show you what this tank's more. If you had a choice over the 2 playstyles, I would rather pick the sniper role. Just I wanted to show what the sort of traditional heavy role with this tank kind of feels like. So anyway, I'll be back in a minute. Right, so I've just jumped into another game, and it turns out I'm in a tier 9 game, which isn't too bad. I mean, if you look at the lists, there's only 3 tier 9s on each team, so it's not going to be too bad. I mean, the majority of the team is tier 8s, and there's quite a few tier 7s as well. So what I'm going to do is, this time round, I'm going to maybe push. See, this map isn't the best for sniping. If I don't get any sniper gameplay, I'm really sorry, but I suppose it's not that interesting anyway. I'm pretty sure you know how to take long range shots with a tank. It's not particularly that interesting. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see which way everyone goes, and it's already looking as though we're going to need help over in this direction. I would rather there be more than just a black prince. and there's a comet rushing the middle, which is not surprising in the slightest. Generally, mediums and lights do try to rush the center before we even get there. I mean, look, the heavies haven't even managed to get into the middle yet. However, he will just be destroyed. I don't know what he's thinking. Would have thought once you get to tier 7 you'll at least understand what to do and what not to do. However, he has got... There we are. That's him destroyed. That's not surprising in the slightest. And there's a KV-13 pushing up the middle, but I think he's probably going to stay in the middle there. And an IS, which just got... That guy, wow. I think he just took a shot from that tank back there. Black Prince not doing very much damage at all. 200 maybe. I suppose it's a tier 7, what do you expect? Now, again, this is me showing off how slow this tank really can be. And that was a mistake by the Black Prince. And now this spot generally is where he will come into a stalemate. Over that IS just made a mistake there. And he's still out in the open. If my gun would reload faster, he would be dead. However, he caught up everything with the gun. Can't be perfect. Well done, Black Prince. However, it would be good if he got into cover. His track was broken, that was what happened. See, our tanks haven't even managed to get into the town yet. I know what I'm doing. Right, so I suppose I just need to wait a little while, wait for these guys to push up a little bit, because they are back there. So, I wish this Black Prince wouldn't keep poking like that, because he doesn't have very much health at all. Now, what I'm going to do is, I can't particularly go anywhere without exposing myself. However, getting to there would be pretty good, getting in some actual cover. Now, I think I'll be safe if I just push this way. Because if I've got a nice hard side of cover to myself, then I'll be less able to be flanked and such. Because there could be a fast medium in there, which will try to crest the hill if he dies, so that's my thinking anyway. I need to try and just push right up to the rock here, and there's an IS. Now, I definitely need to be careful, because my gun depression is letting me down a little here. That was a mistake. Get back in. Missed. How have I not been shot? Yes. Bounced. Right. This IS is going to get... Oh, or maybe it's going to be this guy. Critical hit. Maybe I took out his gun. Killed our driver. I put one into his Capula. Or the top of his tankers. It just so happened I'll put that out. This time I'll remember which key to press. Now unfortunately I am the target at the moment. And I'm probably going to end up dying here because I've got no backup. Now that one bounced luckily. Now I couldn't do anything there, unfortunately. However, I suppose that's just what you get for the team not splitting very well. We had 3 tanks covering 1 flank. That's never good. I mean, unfortunately I didn't play to my best there. I managed to get myself into a position where my gun depression kind of let me down. Now, as I think I've said this before, the gun depression isn't brilliant on this tank. However, it's not too bad. So, if I was in, say, an American tank, that would have been a better position to go into. And hopefully that TD will be able to do its job. Try to switch to it. There we are. Come on. He had to miss. I don't know what's going to happen here. That was an unlucky shot, though. So yeah, basically, I'm not going to show any sniper gameplay just because I suppose you can figure it out for yourself. Just play it like you would a TD, and that's kind of the role it plays as far if you do want to play like that. remember to have your binocular telescope and stuff on. And that's all you can really say about playing long range in this vehicle. However, as I've probably demonstrated, it is a capable tank in close quarters. Just you've got to have backup. As I've shown there, that's with... I don't know where this IS came from. If he'd done this earlier, I probably wouldn't have died. However, I don't think there'll be very many tanks on this side. So, in fact, no. If you look at if I was paying attention to the team list, there's only that 87 and whatever that tank is over there. That heavy. So yeah, if you're gonna go for a sort of close range maneuver, you need teammates with you. Now I probably should have stayed back. However, that in hindsight, that's what I should have done. However, I can't exactly change anything now, can I? And we have won. I mean, look at the score. There's the guy's pretty much surrounded, and we are capping, and it's 14-9. There's 3 guys on him right now. What tank is it? E75. How could I? Why didn't I just look at the team list? Newbie mistakes. And that's him dead. Alright, that was a pretty good game for our team. Not necessarily for me, though. It was more of a standard game for me. In a more... See, I mean, 74,000, and all I did was 5 hits, spot, and some spotting damage. However, that was a heck of a lot of spotting damage on him. 900, and then 300. So that's the sort of that's the sort of credits you can expect to earn in a vehicle like this. It kind of applies for all tier 8 premiums. I mean, there's 2 in the Germans, there's 1 in the British, there is 1 in Soviet, there is 1 in French, there is none at British, and there is none at all in the Chinese. So you do have quite a lot of choice between what you get if you are looking for a tier 8 premium tank. I was just showing off one of them today because this is the only one I've actually bought. So I hope you've enjoyed. I've been Psych Gaming. Remember to tune in to my other tank reviews. Next will probably be the LTP. This little bad boy over here. That should be coming quite soon. So anyway guys, I'll see you later. I've been Psych Gaming. See you in the next one.